Does growing up in Germany versus the United States affect the way we communicate? People come into contact with speakers from other parts of the world every day. The rules of their language and the way they were taught English may vary greatly. I lived with 3 foreign exchange students over the last 5 years. First one was from Russia, then my family had one from Germany, and finally one from Colombia. However, the student from Germany made me look at these differences the most. My presentation is going to focus on the syntax differences between German and English, but also the way English has been taught. Generally, the word structure of a sentence is the same. We could say something such as, that tree is big, versus, that is a big tree. Both are acceptable. The word order just will need to be changed slightly in German. In Germany, the times don't need to be at just the beginning or the end of the sentence like English. It can also be in the middle. The foreign exchange student we had from Germany happened to play football on Wednesdays. So he could say, Wednesday is when I play football, or I play football on Wednesday. Both are grammatically correct in English and Germany. He could also say, I play Wednesday football. Grammatically incorrect in English, that is perfectly acceptable in the German language. In Germany, students are required to learn English in many schools. The European Union is stressing a multilingual education for students, so the number of German students learning English is jumping drastically, as discussed in an article from The Local that was written in 2008. English students typically learn Spanish or French, as German isn't even an option. The funding isn't there, classes are being cut, and so the choice options aren't numerous like they are in Germany. Multilingual education is valued in Europe, whereas funding for the multilingual education in the United States is continuously being cut. Another thing I noticed was that in Germany, the schools are very modern, they're very strict, things are kept very orderly. Whereas in the United States, schools are more modern, they're more laid back, things are able to slide a little more than in Germany, which I think contributes to the fact that German students are so willing and wanting to learn another language and go travel about the world at such a young age. At 15 years old, Fabian had 8 years of English education before he came to live with us in the United States for a year as a foreign exchange student. As you can tell, Fabi was a very nice kid. He got along great with our family, went to Christmas with us. He was very similar to us culturally and even communicated much the same way. The only differences that we saw or became difficulties that occurred is when we used euphemisms and other sayings that were not known or taught in German schools. Fabi noticed that we use other words to describe swear words rather than just saying them straight out. If we want to say something is stupid, we beat around the bush and kind of get at what we're trying to say without actually saying it. In Germany, they would just come right out and say, that thing is stupid. Our education system is much more relaxed and less rigorous than that of Germany. Looking at this information, it is clear that there are many similarities between the German language and the way languages are being taught in the two countries, yet significant differences do exist. The aggressiveness of language education in Germany is proof that their students are more multilingual. Because the entire European Union is boosting multilingual education, it's easy for schools to justify spending the money and placing an importance on classes. They simply have the money to spend. It is easier to learn a new language at a younger age, so this is also helpful to students who are wanting to travel the world and get a worldwide job, such as Fabi. Being in college and in adulthood is much more difficult to learn a language now. Living with 3 foreign exchange students from all over the world, it has been interesting to see how their education has helped them learn language. Fabi shared with us many of the syntax similarities along with how he felt about communicating with Americans as a non-native speaker.